Hello and welcome to the channel. Another glorious day. This weather just goes on and on and on, but not that I'm complaining. We're here at Wareham Forest in Dorsetshire, next to my favourite tree that gives me negative ions and takes my positive ions away, which means it grounds me. We have Mr. Busby. I just moved my legs. Mr. Busby over here. Yep, he is breathing, so he's still alive. And so what are we going to talk about today? What I'd like to talk about is the end times. Now, the end times grammatically means a time that is coming to the end. But we hear on the internet, we hear everywhere about these end times. So religiously, we hear of the end times. Spiritually, we hear of the end times. And from the human, we hear of the end times. Whilst they all are correct and not quite so accurate, I will explain one by one where they come from and why I feel they all do not have it quite right. So, from a religious point of view, when they are promoting the end times, it's usually for a human I suppose a human disaster and a human waking to their God, their religious God and their teachings. And that is generally all religions teaching this, that I can perceive when I've seen them on the internet. Spiritually, the connotations that they're indicating is that the time period is coming to the end of where we are being suppressed as humans. Whoa, it's getting really windy today. Suppressed, and it's the time of enlightenment for spiritual people, that we are understanding who and what, where, why we are. And then the end times for humans is more of a disaster. So we as humans tend to get all excited about disasters and horror movies and things like that. So for us as humans, it's just another disaster story. Now they all are right, and they all are not quite on the dot. The end times, as I like to look at it, is that it's a cycle, okay? And I don't mean a push bike cycle. It's a cycle of life. And the earth goes through earth changes all the time. And life goes through cycles. So when you step back and you examine spiritually or philosophically about who, what, where, why, and everything else, we realize, or some of us realize, that life in general is about cycles. Everything revolves around cycles. So the way that this earth, or our interactions, or the end times come into it, it means it's the end of a cycle. Now these cycles have been around since time immemorial. Before our cycle ever began, there were in my opinion, thousands, if not infinite amount of cycles before ours. So how long do these cycles last? Well, I believe in the scheme of things, there is a set period. I don't wish to use the word time because time doesn't exist. It's only a cycle. And we as humans measure that cycle as in time. So there's a cycle of interactions within the physical world that brings about what we class, or we're talking about today, as the end times. When we understand that the cycles are a good thing and not something to be frightened of, the bogeyman goes away. And we just accept what will be coming. Whether we like it is another matter. That's not what this video is about. So I don't do scary waries. Oh my goodness, I jump up and down and I'm getting terrified. I don't do that. I don't need to. I live in the real world. But what I do need to be is aware of what I feel the end times is about. And being that it's an end of a cycle, obviously you could class that as, it's a common word being used and bandied around now, as a reset. Again, a human concept on a natural cycle. It's just words humans use to explain something they don't fully understand. So these cycles that occur, sometimes they're greater in devastation than others. And in the Bible or in religious teachings of any denomination, they will explain this about the devastation that goes on. It can be greater or lesser depending on the cycle and the gravity of what could be coming down the pipe. The spiritual is all excited that the end times are coming and that, hallelujah, everything is going to be that we're all going to a wonderful world and a wonderful world of enlightenment where we're all going uplifted and all the rest of it, which is almost the opposite. The spiritual is almost the opposite, or the evangelist spirit is almost the opposite of what humans predict for the end times. They're all doom and gloom. So the humans are doom and gloom. The spiritual people are all hallelujah, or the evangelist spirituals are all hallelujah. And then the religious are all damnation. All right, so you either believe or you're damned forever. Well, I don't feel any of those are necessarily true. They all have a bit of truth in them. I feel the end times is close, and it is time to find out who you really are. I do feel it's very important to find out who you really are and to make preparations in your enlightenment for who you are, and not to just go about your daily life in ignorance. it's not a time, these end times that are coming are not to be feared, or should not be feared. You can only fear them if you're ignorant of what's coming. Once you have the knowledge of what's coming and what's happening, then you don't have the ignorance anymore, and because you haven't got the ignorance, you're not frightened. You have acceptance. And really, hello, Mr. Busby. And so when you hear about these end times, I don't want you to be frightened. I want you to find out. I want you to start becoming enlightened. I want you to start being who you should be on your journey, finding your own truth, enjoying your life, enjoying your existence for however long it is. I don't want you to be frightened, because there's nothing to be frightened of. There's nothing we can do about it. These end times have come and gone many times before. I think we've touched on young souls, old souls in videos before that I've taught you, but I taught about to you. But the irony is, to have an old soul, you've had to been here many times before, which fits the picture of what I believe is coming to fruition. Well, anyway, that wasn't meant to be a doom and gloom video. That was meant to be an enlightening one about getting your act together, not being frightened, and learning so that you're not frightened, and to deal with it in that way. We can't stop what's coming, but we can be part of the journey that we originally wanted to be part of. Well, that's me rambled on for well and truly too much. So I'm going to say to you, please feel free to email me in the description below. If you wish to contact me, that's fine. If you just wish for me to put a question on this website, that's great. I feel that a little bit of a community is starting to arise from this website now. I'm only trying to give you the information that I believe to be true. Take or leave it what you want. And that's it really for today. For this video anyway. So from Mr. Busby, who's asleep. Yes, he's still breathing. From Mr. Busby, who's still asleep, and from me, I want to wish you all peace, love, and alignment. Until the next time we meet. Goodbye.